Imagine waking up to the acrid stench of smoke choking your dreams, only to find your family's century-old home reduced to a charred skeleton, courtesy of your neighborhood's self-appointed queen bee who deemed it an eyesore. But here's the delicious twist. The recluse she targeted wasn't some hapless retiree. He was a retired federal judge who'd spent decades dismantling corrupt empires just like hers. And when the ashes settled, her reign of petty terror ignited a firestorm of justice that left her empire in ruins. I stood in the gutted shell of what used to be my grandfather's cabin, the kind of place where the walls whispered stories of simpler times, now silenced by soot and silence. The wind howled through gaping holes where windows once caught the Colorado dawn, and every crunch of glass under my boots felt like a mocking echo of shattered peace. My name's Elias Hawthorne, Eli to the few who knew me beyond the rumors, and at 59, I traded the gavel for garden tools, thinking retirement meant finally escaping the courtroom dramas. Boy, was I wrong. This wasn't just a fire. It was the climax of a 6-month siege by HOA President Karen Whitaker, a 54-year-old real estate shark with a smile as fake as her spray tan and a vendetta sharper than her stiletto heels. It all started innocently enough, or so I thought, back when the Pine Ridge Estates development crept up like weeds around my 35-acre plot in Evergreen Valley, Colorado. The land had been in my family since the 1940s, a rugged haven with hand-hewn logs, solar arrays I'd installed myself, and a vegetable patch that fed half my meals. No frills, no fuss, just sustainable living in a world gone mad with cookie-cutter McMansions. Enter Karen, fresh off a messy divorce that left her with a brokerage license and a chip on her shoulder big enough to block the Rockies. She'd clawed her way to HOA Prez in record time, turning what was once a casual neighborhood watch into a dictatorship of do's and decrees. Her BMW purred up my gravel drive one crisp fall morning, tires spitting stones like accusations. She stepped out in a power suit that screamed, "I bill by the hour," clipboard in hand, eyes scanning my property like a drone spotting infractions. "Mr. Hawthorne, I presume?" she called out, her voice honeyed with that faux politeness Karen's perfect in mirror rehearsals. I wiped grease from my hands, I'd been tweaking the solar panels, and nodded. "That's me. What can I do for you, ma'am?" She thrust a pamphlet at me, titled Pine Ridge Estates Community Standards, Elevating Excellence. "I'm Karen Whitaker, your HOA president. We've noticed your setup doesn't quite align with our aesthetic guidelines. Those solar panels? They're an eyesore. And that garden, it attracts wildlife. We need to discuss compliance." I chuckled, thinking it was a joke. "Lady, this land predates your HOA by decades. I've got deeds older than your development. No offense, but I'm grandfathered in literally." Her lips pursed into a line thinner than her patience. "We'll see about that, Mr. Hermit. Community standards protect everyone's investments. Yours included." She clicked away, heels sinking into the dirt like daggers, leaving me shaking my head. If only she'd known I wasn't some backwoods bumpkin. I just retired from 22 years as a federal judge, specializing in white-collar crooks and power abusers. But I kept quiet. Observation was my superpower, let them dig their own graves. The complaints rolled in like clockwork. Anonymous tips flooding county offices about phantom violations. My septic system allegedly leaching toxins, it wasn't. Zoning mismatches. Bogus. Even my fence height being a safety hazard, it was standard. Inspectors showed up daily, clipboards mirroring Karen's, poking around with puzzled frowns before declaring everything kosher. "Sorry for the hassle, sir," One muttered, glancing at his truck. Someone's got a bee in their bonnet. I nodded knowingly. Karen's real estate firm had inked a deal with Summit developers, eyeing my acres for luxury condos worth millions. All they needed was to squeeze me out. But facts? In HOA land, perception trumped proof. Then came the real kicker. I was firing up the grill for my granddaughter's 7th birthday, kids chasing fireflies, laughter bubbling like soda, when a process server slunk up, papers in hand. Timing impeccable, right as little Mia blew out her candles. Elias Hawthorne? You're served. The lawsuit? My rainwater barrels were stealing neighborhood water, causing shortages. Absurd, since we all had private wells. But Channel 9 ate it up. Eco-recluse hoards resources. Neighbors thirst. Karen's media puppetry turned my green thumbs into greedy claws overnight. It's about equity, she simpered in an interview clip, batting lashes. One person's sustainability shouldn't drain the community dry. I had to laugh bitterly at the irony. Her McMansion guzzled more water on lawn sprinklers than my entire setup. But I didn't lash out. No, I researched, my judicial instincts kicking in. Old contacts revealed Karen's rap sheet, 2 ethics slaps from the real estate board for shady deals, her developer pals' greased palms in City Hall, and HOA funds, a black hole of $150,000 in miscellaneous expenses. I countersued for harassment and defamation, pulling strings to land the case with Judge Ramirez, a no-nonsense vet who hated frivolous filings. Court day. Her lawyer, Reginald Beaumont IV, Roman numerals screaming privilege, strutted in like he owned the bench. Your Honor, this man's archaic practices threaten modern progress. I rose, calm as a still pond. Actually, Your Honor, basic hydrology debunks their claims. Separate aquifers mean no impact. I slid over expert reports, charts gleaming. Beaumont stammered, face reddening. Case dismissed with prejudice, plus $12,000 in my fees from Karen's pocket. You said he was a pushover, he whispered furiously as they fled. Outside, Karen cornered me by my truck. Think you're clever, huh? This valley's too small for your kind. You'll sell or regret it. Her tires screeched off, leaving skid marks like her temper. Post-court, Karen escalated to guerrilla tactics, the kind that'd make a mob boss blush. My power flickered out one dawn. Emergency maintenance, the utility said, courtesy of HOA whispers. Then my driveway became a construction zone. Urgent repairs, blocking access for weeks. Equipment idling like lazy sentinels. Groceries, hiked in via back trails. Mail, diverted. The EPA knocked next, probing toxic runoff from my panels. The inspector, Karen's cousin, fidgeting in his badge like it burned. Just routine, he mumbled, avoiding eyes. I documented it all. Security cams catching HOA goons at midnight, permits forged, emails linking back to her domain. Criminals always leave breadcrumbs, my old mentor used to say. Mine were digital gold. Going public was my next move. I tipped off Lena Vargas, a bulldog reporter at Channel 9 hungry for scandals. HOA horror. Tyranny in the suburbs hit airwaves, exposing Karen's reign. Fining grannies for flower pots, leaning homes over paint shades. An old widow teared up on cam. She threatened foreclosure over my bird feeder, said it clashed with unity. Views exploded. Forums lit up. HOA meetings swelled from rubber stamp sessions to mob scenes. Karen called an emergency powwow, trying to retro-rule my land in. For the greater good, she preached, waving a petition. But I spotted fakes, sloppy forgeries screaming amateur. Verify those signatures? I asked mildly. She exploded. You're a radical undermining our values. The room reeked of stale coffee and hypocrisy as her mask slipped, voice shrilling like a kettle. Rumors flew next. I was a disgraced Fed hiding bribes. Flyers plastered cars. Beware the criminal next door. Then the calls to my son in Boulder. Your dad's dirty. Watch your back. Graffiti on my gate. Judge fraud. Get out. The neighborhood split. Newbies shunned me. Old guards baked pies in solidarity. Karen cost me a contract with her lies, a plumber confided. Meetings turned circus. Shouts drowning her gavel. I countered with FBI pals tracing calls to her IP. Plus a whistleblower. 71-year-old Edith Green, ex-HOA secretary with boxes of dirt. Recordings of Karen's rants. Charters exempting my land. To thaw the ice, I hosted barbecues. Ribs. Stories. Unity. Attendance ballooned. Laughter piercing the tension. Karen seethed. Hiring a PR firm to smear me as abusive elite. Backfire. Feds cleared me. Taps catching her plotting. If he won't budge, burn the problem away. Hilarity in hubris, her shredder symphony on tape. Desperation peaked when she roped in ex-contractor Zeke Harlan, a grudge holder fired for shortcuts. $8,000 for an accidental blaze during a storm. But Zeke's wife tipped cops. Sting up. I bunked elsewhere, cams rolling as he doused my home. Flames roared, neighborhood agape, but controlled just enough for evidence. Zeke sang like a canary, bank trails to Karen. Her on-air gaffe, probably insurance scam, he's unstable, defamation gold. Outrage boiled over. Feds raided, seizing ledgers of laundered funds. Developer ties crumbling. Councilman linked, booted. EPA cuz, charged. The town hall, packed, 350 strong. Karen sauntered in, suit pristine, but eyes wild. I took the mic. Folks, meet federal judge Elias Hawthorne, your recluse, who's jailed crooks like her for decades. Gasps. Flashes. I laid out the conspiracy. Tapes. Docs. Her theft of $350,000. Karen, your arson? 20 years federal. But terrorizing widows? That's your legacy. She erupted. Lies. I'm the victim. Protecting values from radicals like you. Escorted out shrieking. Sheep. All sheep. U.S. Attorney announced 42 counts. Applause thundered. 6 months on. Karen got 18 years. No parole. $2 million restitution. Zeke. 7 years. Cronies toppled. I rebuilt bigger. Community hub. Library. Solar showcase. Values soared. Foundation from recovered funds, scholarships, law hopefuls. Lena, we wed amid cheers. Her Pulitzer on HOA exposes. My book, HOA Hell. A judge's revenge bestseller. Sparking reforms, Colorado's tough HOA laws. Federal probes. Valley bloomed. Co-ops. Gardens. Potlucks. Justice rebuilt us stronger. But tell me, was Karen the real villain? Or just a symptom of a system that lets petty power corrupt absolutely? Drop your take below, right or wrong.